Welcome to my review of Red Dead Redemption 2, the game I've just finished, and what a game it is. It's a story of Arthur Morgan and his adventures with Dutch van der Linde and his gang, who have escaped the law from Blackwater and sought redemption of the sorts in the new frontier to the east. And it's really this conflict between the Old West and the new civilized East that is at the heart of the game. So Arthur is very much the fish out of water, trying to adapt, trying to understand the new rules by which he has to live as civilization grows up around him. And what a game it is. And in this environment, Arthur needs to also find himself within the gang. So Dutch van der Linde is this sort of narcissistic, sort of almost tyrant, who starts out, however, being quite the fatherly figure to Arthur. So the problem is that they're on the run, and there's seemingly no escape.
Just yet. They're just trying to scare us into doing something stupid.
And stupid is what they do.
We survived them mountains. We just need to stay calm.
And as Dutch always says, we just need more money to escape. And of course, well, money often requires some extreme action. So restocking, rearming, resupplying is very much an important part of this game, which all, of course, takes money. But why do you do that? Well, because staying quiet isn't something that comes naturally. And it is the Wild West after all. So the game is a mixture of these sort of set-piece missions, which form the main story, and free roaming, which is, to be honest, perhaps the more interesting. Whilst this is a gunslinger game, there is a little bit of fist fighting involved, but I have to admit it's not that satisfying. Though it does have its moments. Ah, Mr. Downs, our first encounter. You will become more important. Hint, hint. So the start of the game is really about learning how to be an outlaw, and some of Arthur's early attempts don't quite go to plan. Oops, where'd you come from? Maybe this is going to go badly. And of course, it wouldn't be an old Wild West game without some train robberies. So there's a temptation to jump straight into train robberies in the game as an easy way of getting some cash, and you can get a lot of cash. The problem is that the bounties that you get will often far exceed what you pull out of the train, unless you're lucky. Now you can pay off bounties, but the real money is in things like banks. Not surprising. Though that does come with its own risks. There are other ways of earning money in the game, and as you earn a lot in the main story line, but the side missions and bounty opportunities do provide quite substantial amounts of money, and this is one of the problems of the game. You will earn so much money as part of the side missions and the main story that it's almost pointless. It actually undermines the whole premise of Dutch, and his drive to that one last robbery, that one last score that will make everything work out. So that's a real fundamental problem with the game. So back to the main sort of mechanics of the game. You spend most of your time centered around the camps, where you can do things like, fairly mundane things like shaving, changing your clothes, eating, drinking, doing all the really sort of fun things in life. Now, one of the things as you get further into the game, you can also purchase the ability to do fast travel. But to me, this was almost not worth it. I'll talk about that a bit later. Yeah, improving the camp seems like a good idea, but experience shows that there's most probably limited value. Looks like the food's not ready yet. I'll just have a coffee instead. Didn't I just talk to you? So, you do need to keep your weight up, so from eating regularly. So there's a little bit of some, I guess, RPG mechanics to it. But at the end of the day, it's all about money and who brings in the money. And what you'll find is that Arthur is much more successful than anyone else in the camp at bringing in money. And the money is used for supplies like medicine, ammunition, things like that. Another part of the camp life is your ability to contribute doing chores. This helps with Deadeye and overall gaining some positive reputational morality. There are a few other things you can do in the game apart from killing, playing poker, dominoes, five-finger fillet as examples. And these are traditional sort of Red Dead Redemption sub-games. For me, not that interesting. And I'm not a particularly good player. And things generally end up going badly. Now, you can take plenty of opportunities to just chill out, relax, enjoy a spot of fishing, and while enjoying the environment. So those moments can be quite relaxing, quite zen-like. Not that fulfilling though. Early on in the game, there's also this sort of temptation to put a lot of effort into hunting, so the camp needs food. You can also sell the skins for money, although it does get a little bit, sometimes a bit much, so not for the faint-hearted. You can also hunt for legendary animals, and that should be challenging, but for the most part it isn't, especially as you move further into the game and you increase your firepower. Actually can be quite anticlimactic. Now, the map itself, or the game, is quite extensive. You can go quite a long way. And that's one of the problems, is that you will end up travelling a lot between places. For the most part, not much happens. And fast travel should be good, but fast travel is only one way and only to very set locations, so it's not that useful. But the world itself is beautiful, and you can spend quite a lot of time just, relaxing, enjoying the environment. Sometimes the environment is a little bit more aggressive. This is kind of a Revenant rip-off, but what a way to go. I think I need a beer after that. And, one of the things you'll discover is that, sometimes you just need to get rid of some bodies. It comes with the territory of being an outlaw. And if you're in the swamps, Well, there are ways of doing it. Or you can rely on nature to provide. And it provides very suitably. So, why do you need to get rid of bodies? Well, one of the things you'll find is that being bad often is witnessed. Witnessing generally gives you a bounty, gets the law after you, so doing one thing bad causes some witnesses, getting rid of those witnesses causes more witnesses, and things have a tendency of getting out of hand from there. But when things go bad, you can always just enjoy the environment, and the environments are beautiful. The weather effects, the detail in the environment is, I would say, better than any other game that I've seen on the PlayStation. But there's also some quirks. So, for example, here I was trying to get into the sheriff's office and I was locked out. Unfortunately, somehow, either a glitch or something happened and the door opened, and that actually triggered the sheriffs to get a little bit angsty. Here, look, they gave me a warning. I'm going away. Nothing. I'm moving along. Nothing to see here. You know, no problem. Not doing anything bad. What did I do? Okay. Do you feel lucky? Well, maybe not. And this is one of the problems with the game, is this tendency for things to happen, to escalate, even if you're not doing anything. Here I'm just walking, just standing here, and the police didn't like the way I was, standing. Look, I'm walking away. Look, I'm trying to be good. It's just not gonna work. They're shooting at me for what? And this is one of the problems, is that you'll find yourself, the smallest things end up escalating. It's almost impossible to be good, and you'll end up paying the price. On the flip side, some of those events and escalations are quite unexpected and very sort of adds to the texture and the excitement in the game, even if you can't quite explain what's going on. This was kind of bizarre. Now, where was I? That's right, I was going to shoot down the corpse. Why? I don't know. So, at times like this, you just need to take some time out, relax, go for a nice, gentle boat ride down the river. And once again, the graphics are wonderful. And when I say immersive, I mean immersive. The other problem is that, when you are trying to be good, the controls will sometimes defeat you. Here I was just trying it out first person, and I didn't mean to do this. Well, I didn't mean to take the first shot. However, every other shot after that, I have to put my hand up to. First person is playable in the game, but for me, it's not enjoyable. And while it does have add a particular challenge to the game, I would recommend strongly not doing it. Now, if it was in 3D, that might be a different story. Yeah, well, and that kind of sums up the game, because whilst this is Red Dead Redemption, it really is focusing on the dead. Overall, let's summarise. So the world is the wonderful part of the game. There's so much discovery in the game. There's so many different things, different quirks, and the story is enjoyable. But the brilliance is in the technical detail. The world is so fleshed out and so live. But, and there was a but, the pacing is really uneven. The start is so slow, at other points it's breakneck. Also, there's no way of understanding how important a mission is prior to starting it, at which point you can't save. The controls are really outdated and clunky. The economy doesn't make sense. You earn more money than Dutch will ever in his life of crime. Also, even though you're the outlaw, other people are so quick to get aggressive, and don't even start me on the unrealistic realism, just to mention the Pinkertons for starters. This is a masterpiece, but a flawed one. 9 out of 10. Definitely needs reinvention for some good old redemption.